So today we are reviewing how to use the TVM solver. It is found under apps, and then you choose finance, and then TVM solver, and that stands for time value of money. The TVM app, we're going to use that to do some scenarios like, would you please put in 360 here, interest rate 10%, present value 400,000. What we're doing right now is we're seeing how much my daughter's house payments are, because I know how much she borrowed and I know how long the loan is. This is how many months the loan is. Interest rate. Oh, I just realized she got a really good interest rate. Go back and change the 10 to a 3.2, because that's pretty close to what interest she got. She got like a 3.2% interest rate. It was about a year ago she bought her house. She got done with college. She had worked really hard, saved up a whole bunch of money. She worked in a restaurant making good money and tips, and she saved all that money and was able to buy a house. That's pretty cool for her right out of college. So here's her $400,000 that she got from the bank. Why isn't it negative? Because she got it into her account. They give you this huge check, which you then spend on the house. So it was positive on the way in. Payment, she has to make payments, and what we're going to do is figure out what her payments are. So leave that blank for now, or put a 0 to hold the place. In the future, how much does she want to have for a loan in the future? Yes, 0 is correct. If you're going to do a house loan, it's always monthly. So what do I put for P/Y? 12. And the other one's always the same, 12. And you always choose end of the month payments. Now you go back here, and there's a blinky cursor, and you use alpha, which is a green key near the top, and then solve. Awesome. You should have a number. Compare it with the kid next to you. See if you get the same thing as them. Pausing. 1729, and why would it be negative? Negative 1729. That's how much her house payment is. Because why is it negative though? Yes. She has to pay it out of her checking account every month. That's why it's negative, because it's coming out of her checking account. Your checking account is where you keep your money that you're going to give to other people, pretty much. It's just sitting there waiting to write a check, or nowadays a lot of people use bill pay, and it just goes direct to the company. You don't have to write a check. Actually, how many of you have actually written a check? Not going to be many. All right, there's only like 2 people in the whole room that have written a check. So nowadays, most people, if you're going to send money, you send it via Venmo or PayPal. And that's how Elon Musk got his first big win, is he and 4 other people started PayPal. And then PayPal obviously was a good idea to be able to transfer money just digitally. And so he got lots of money when he sold that. And what did he do? He started his rocket company. And he started Tesla. And he started a couple other things. But anyways, he could have been sitting on an island just drinking, fancy drinks with umbrellas in them and resting for the rest of his life. But he wanted to do something cool. So anyway, this 1729 came from using AlphaSolve. I'm going to ask you to do the same exact problem, except I'm not going to help as much. I'm going to ask you to figure out how much my house payments would have been. Just telling you the real numbers. I paid $111,000, and I paid $11,000 of that as a down payment, so I paid $100,000 when I bought my house. Now, it's actually smaller than my daughter's house. I bought kind of a small house, but I was a teacher. Didn't have that much money, but I was able to get in this small house. Put the $100,000 in the right spot, and my interest rate was about 7%. Put that in the right spot, AlphaSolve, and you'll have what my house payments were. It's actually going to be really close. So the 3.2 should have changed to a 7. The 400,000 changed to 100,000. And what were my payments? Somebody brave. Yes. Yes, Jack.
$665 a month.
Can anybody verify 665? All right, cool. And I think I heard the chairs moving around, so I think it's about lunchtime. We'll pause, come back to this after lunch. All right, so we're back from lunch. And when we left, we were figuring out what my house payment would have been back in the day. $100,000 borrowed. Okay, whatever you're doing, find another way to put your calculator somewhere else. Okay, and I paid 7% interest. And that obviously goes here. $100,000 goes there. 360 is normal for any house loan. 30 years. And I paid 665. All right. So nowadays, you might want to save up for something else. A lot of people are into tiny houses. So the tiny houses are about $100,000 nowadays for a tiny house. I got mine full-size house for that, but it's not like a really big house. And I got it so many years ago that it's not really a fair comparison. But would you please change one thing? Your interest rate would not be 7. Right now, your interest rate would be about 8%. If you personally bought a house for $100,000, would you just change that one thing and then tell me what your nowadays house payment would be if you bought a tiny house? All right, Dice of Destiny. Row 2, person 5. That's you. Yeah, that's you. What do you, have you got it yet? No, not I agree.
Oh, me?
Yes.
Negative 733.
All right. Did you get 733 also?
Yeah.
Maybe you haven't typed it in yet. You can verify that?
No.
Negative? Why is it negative? Negative 733. Why is it negative?
Because you're giving them money.
You're paying out of your checking account for this tiny house. Okay. One other little thing. Do you think that people just let you park your tiny house on their land for no cost? No, you probably have to pay somebody for the land too. So the tiny houses can cost this much money. And then you got to have somewhere to put it. All right. One last one. We want to do an investment to wrap it up because the numbers are negative all over the place and it gets confusing. So let's just have the last one we do be an investment. Everybody zero out all of your numbers. Put a 0 in all the spots. Everybody put a 0 in all the spots except for payments per month or per year. Those are going to be 12 and 12 at the end. All right. So if you zero everything out, here's my last scenario, and then we're on to the worksheet, and then that's it. It's going to be a pretty easy day as long as you understand how to work this calculator program. So the first, no, you got to pass. That's good. The first thing is I'm going to invest $2,000 towards college because your grandma left you $2,000 for college, and she said, I hope you can spend this in college someday. So you're going to invest that. You're going to get, let's say, 8% return on it. As in you invested in stocks and it out over the average of a long period of time, you get 8%. And let's say that the cool part is you didn't actually need it for college. Listening. Okay, you got $2,000, you put it at 8%, but you didn't actually need it for college after all. So you're able to save that $2,000 for 40 years. And you never spent it. You didn't add anything to it. You did not add anything to it, but you just saved it for 40 years at 8%. How much should that have grown to? 40 years. If I put a 40 here, you're making a tragic mistake because that's months. Remember, this is monthly. So you go 40 times 12. That's a big number. Your interest rate, present value, $2,000. But wait, it came out of your checking account and it went into the bank. -2,000. That's a really easy mistake to make. Your payments but your payments aren't, you don't have any payments. It's an investment of $2,000 once. Your payments are zero. You're not putting in something every month. Then you solve for this. I'm putting the black cursor there, and it would blink on your screen until you finally put in alpha solve. And Michaela, what did you get? 48,000 what?
I got 13.
Uh-oh. Oh, we got all different numbers.
I got 48,546.
I got 13.906, 13.906.
All right, check your numbers. Only one person can be right. There's a right answer for this. Now, if you have payment of zero, some of you probably forgot and left some kind of payment in there. If you have present value of negative 2,000 because it came out of your checking account and went into the investment,
I had to go pick something up from the office.
we'll be talking later about that. And your interest rate is 8%. If you have all of those in there, there's only one right answer. I will double check since I had like 3 different answers given. Negative 2,000, payments of 0, and I do alpha solve. I can verify that this is correct other than maybe the rounding at the very end. Maybe this should be 547 if you wanted to round it because it's 77 cents. Okay, how many of you actually had that 48546 number? Good, then you're doing it right. If you didn't, you better figure out what you're doing wrong. Maybe you forgot the negative. Maybe you put the wrong kind of negative sign. And then it would just say error because the negative has got to be that bottom one, not the minus key.
Oh, let's go to the alpha.
All right. So now I have got a worksheet, and some people get confused at the top. All it is an example at the top. So if you get confused later about, is this the kind where this should be negative or not? I got an example of an investment, and I got an example of a loan. Okay? So there's 4 questions, and they start in the middle of the page here. All right? It is a physical worksheet. If you are absent today, you can pick it up from online, but I'd rather if you're in class that you just take one of these. I printed them for you. Take one, hand it back. There's 4 questions, and a lot of kids finished before they even left. But no, you can't hand it in until Monday. This is your homework. Grab one, hand it back. If you insist on doing it digitally, it's okay, but then you're going to have to turn it in separately because I'm not going to have a Dropbox for this one because it's a worksheet. You want to show it to me later because you did it digitally. I'm always okay with that. First problem starts at number 1 and it says investment. So right away, there's a bunch of negative numbers. I know that's weird, but it's going to come out of your checking account. That's why there's negative numbers in it. Okay, so let's start this worksheet together. Number 1, it says you start with 10,000 your grandpa gives you for college. That's not the N. It's not the I. It is the PV. Now, careful. Your grandpa gave it to you, but you're going to take it out of your checking account and put it into the investment. Investments have a lot of negative numbers because they're coming out of your cash you could have spent, and they're going into the investment. Now, you have to fill in all these other numbers. And remember, if it's a loan, the future value will be 0. This is not a loan problem. This first problem is an investment problem. You get 7%, so that's easy. And then it says 5 years. I'm going to make a classic mistake on purpose right there. What's wrong with what I wrote? Yes, because this is monthly. That should be 5 times 12 up there. Your P/Y is pretty much always 12, unless they say it's annual and not monthly. Your compoundings here are always going to match. These two are always the same. And I'd like you to always use your payments at the end. The last thing is always payment end. All right, if you put that all in properly and I did not finish it, you finish it, get the answer, compare your future value with the kid next to you, and you'll see if you're doing it right. I am going to have a key posted for this worksheet. All right, that's all I have for you for the video for today.